All right, guys. So I want to talk today about why you're in the best position possible if you're doing sales. And if you're not doing sales, you should probably start doing sales, but not just any sales. You in particular, if you're not and you've been interested in doing it, you need to find yourself a commission-only sales job. And if you're already in it, you're in the best possible place. Even if your life sucks right now, even if you're stressed out, you don't know how you're going to make rent next month, you don't know how you're going to pay your car payment, whatever place you're in, and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, or I don't know if I'm in the right spot. The reason that you're in the perfect spot and you couldn't be in a better place right now is because whilst you might be having financial issues, personal life issues, whatever it is that you're going through, and whatever age it is that you're going through, what you're learning right now, the life experience that you're getting by inserting yourself in a position where you alone are solely in charge of whether you live or not next month, of whether you have food on your plate or not next month. And that is solely based on whether you put in the effort or not, is the greatest life experience you could ever gain. Ever. I can't think of a better thing, and I've tried out so many things. My only regret to this day is that I didn't start commission-only sales sooner. For those of you that don't know, commission-only sales means that there's no salary, there's no base pay, there's no benefits. You're just paid commission. So if you don't do your job, if you don't sell, you don't make a dollar. Period. That might sound really, really scary to a lot of people. But you need to start looking at it in a positive light if you're currently in it. And if you're not, but it's something that you've been thinking of and you've been wanting to make a jump to the next step where you don't have a ceiling on what you make and you're looking for that higher income level, this is why it's the right jump to make. No matter how much money you make. Now, I mean, obviously, if you go into sales, commission-only sales, and you make $1 million in your first year, well, then, hey, great, your life is forever changed permanently. But you know what is more valuable than making that $1 million is the skills that you take away as a result of doing what you had to do to make that $1 million. You are what we call economy and recession-proof. You're recession-proof. You, as a result of making whatever it is that you made, or you, as a result of getting good at commission-only sales and being able to provide for yourself, you are now recession-proof. That means that you can now create your own economy. So as great as that money that you make is, right? Let's say you have a great year. The experience and the lessons and the skills that you develop is still more valuable than that. It's in fact priceless. You can't even put a price tag on how monumentally important that skill set is now, because you can take that anywhere in life. Let's say you don't necessarily like what you do right now in commission-only sales. Let's say that this isn't the last step for you. You want to do something on your own one day, or you want to have your own business. It's great. You still learned the most important aspects of how to run that business. You've now learned how to sell anything. You've learned how to become a good worker. You've learned how to provide for yourself. You've learned how to be disciplined on your own, because you alone are in charge of whether you make money or not, right? So you need to start looking at your position, even if you don't have $1 in the bank account, even if you're in debt. You need to start looking at this as the most important step that you've ever taken in your life. And with that new game perspective gives you gratuity, gives you gratefulness. And when you're grateful, you can still get up at the beginning of the day and you can get out there and you can continue to put your best foot forward. Me, when I joined commission-only sales and I started doing a job like this where I was solely in charge of whether I lived or not, of whether I had money to pay the rent and had a roof over my head the next month, of whether or not I paid my car payment, of whether or not I had food to eat, I'm now in a position where I've learned skills that I would not have learned anywhere else. And that perspective alone, that mindset alone is what got me through the hard times. Because I knew that I was building myself, I was self-developing. That's the greatest personal development course in life that you could ever put yourself through. You guys could all read 1 million books on how to develop oneself, on how to be a better person, on X amount of skills. You could read books on how to learn on how to do all sorts of skills. But nothing, absolutely nothing, replaces the experience. Absolutely nothing replaces the hands-on learning that you get as a result of doing a job like this. So if you're in a spot where maybe you're not where you want to be, or you are struggling, you're in a tough situation, start to be grateful for the fact that you're in a position where you're going to learn things that no one else is learning. You're now in a position where you could set yourself up for the rest of your life if you just keep going. Now this means that you do have to put in the reps. If you don't, and you're not getting out there, and you're not going through the reps, if you're not doing what it takes to learn, if you're not putting yourself in the experience, of course you're going to fail, obviously. One of the best quotes I ever heard, it was a saying that I was told once when I first got started with this. One of my early on mentors, he said to me, he actually asked it to me. He goes, are you going to catch any fish if your line isn't in the water? And I sat there and I thought about it for a sec. I was like, And then he said it to me as a statement. He goes, you're not going to catch fish if your line is not in the water. So no matter where your skill set is at, no matter what you know and don't know, as long as you keep your line in the water, you're going to catch something eventually. And then you'll start to learn how to catch better. Then you start to learn how to catch a fish more frequently. Then you start to know where to look. And then you start to know and learn when to look. And then from there on out, you can go fish in any pond you want. So if you guys aren't in sales right now, commission-only sales, I suggest you get into it. And if you are, and you're not where you want to be yet, and you know there's a lot more potential there, or you're feeling discouraged, do not. It's all going to come to you as long as you keep your line in the water. So start to change that perspective around that you guys have. Start to change your perspective into a perspective of, I'm grateful that I'm in this place now instead of years from now. You made the decision now. The best time to do it was yesterday. The second best time to do it was today. So pat yourself on the back for that and get back out there tomorrow and cast that line. Good luck, guys. Hope this helped.